Greetings, every peoples! Your cult of personality here, ToonKritic's name, Toon's name of my game. Welcome back to the Sketchpad, a little show where I send out a bunch of emails saying, hey, do you want to be interviewed? And whoever gets back to me first gets to be on here. And today, okay, getting out of my system, pretty excited, because I have here today, like, one of my all-time favorite reviewers, one of, like, practically my idols that I religiously watch, totally not like a creepy fanboy about it, promise. This dude, he is the dude who has the dirty deed of deciding whether or not the game should be slaughtered or salvaged. Give it up for Caddicarus.
Hello! I thought you were going to start off what you were saying with greetings and salutations, and I was going to be like, "Oh, you cheeky, you cheeky." But no, it's all cool. Hello, thanks so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on. It's a pleasure to talk and do all that stuff with my mouth. So that's great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're actually the second video game reviewer I've had on here. The first one I had was Nitro Rad, and he was a really slow guy. So. Yeah, don't worry, this is not like some unprofessional thing. I've actually interviewed quite a lot of people, from voice actors to comic book people, all sorts of people. So
awesome. Well, I hope I can reach the same level of swellness. I've been practicing my swelling recently.
I think you're up pretty well there. So, for those that don't know who you are, even though I totally just introduced you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
God. Well, hello everyone. I'm Caddicarus, as Mr. ToonKritic has just said, and I don't even know how to describe what I do. I do a weekly episodic show that is the reason I am where I am today, where people get shot, there's blood, there's explosions, there's swearing and shouting and possibly some crying, and it's usually all about like bad and good PS1 games and sometimes some direct to VHS DVD kind of things. I wouldn't call them review videos necessarily, they're more just kind of stupid, like I'm just talking about them, and yeah, I'm just having fun with them, and they can go on for like, I don't know, 10 minutes and sometimes 30, 35. I've never gone further than 35 as far as I can recall, but yeah, and then I do more like professionally kind of reviews on Wednesdays, along with like drum covers and other random things. Wednesday's a bit of an like a free-for-all, and then Fridays my girlfriend edits a film review series where we don't script anything, we go and see a film, and then we go in front of a camera and just discuss it for a few minutes, which is then cut down by like half by the time the video comes out because we both like to ramble. So yeah, there you go. That's what I do, and it's been going brilliantly over the last few years. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for every single one of you that watch. Thank you.
Yeah, you've come a long way since like just starting out with like freaking Rascal Racers up until now. Like you have so much more variety to your channel now, other than like just talking about like video games. And I think that's something very important. I think variety is something that every reviewer or every entertainer, I think, should have, because
I agree, but at the same time, I think what you're saying now is not necessarily true compared to what it used to be.
How so?
Because I've got the 3 different kinds of shows now, but in the past there were like 7 or 8 going on at the same time, and it was just a can I swear? Is it okay to swear?
It's fine.
It was a clusterfuck. It was awful. It was horrendous. I mean, obviously, I'm still proud of what I did back then, and loads of people liked it, and loads of people disappointed when I stopped doing them. But it's as far as structurally goes, and how I was uploading the videos and everything, people were getting confused. No one knew was coming in and being hooked. It was a fucking disaster in lots of places. So sometimes too much variety is a bit too much, and that was something that I did try out, and I'm glad I did. But now we've gone a little bit more stripped back, and I think now it's working out better than it ever has done personally. But yeah, no, it's been a wild ride. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it has worked for you, I think. So, looking back on your past videos, what was the moment in your content-making career where you knew that, like, this is it, I've made it here?
It was when I got my first paycheck from the game station, which is now obviously Maker Studios and everything. So when I got my first paycheck from there, which was April 2013, that's when I thought, this is where it's all gonna go uphill, and luckily it did. I probably naive is probably the word. I let everything go to my head a bit, but then I used that to keep going and keep uploading stuff and keeping the consistent schedule up, and then obviously that in turn turned into growth, and then obviously I was able to leave my jobs and everything, and then I was able to do it full time. So yeah, it was around then where I kind of flicked the switch, as it were.
Yeah, that seems fair. So also by your personal preference, what are some qualities you think a content creator or reviewer should have? Because you are a part of Hidden Block, and that's like your own kind of like your own version of like Normal Boots with so many others. Like
absolutely, yeah.
I'm blanking on the names. I know most of them because I watch a lot of them. Like Space Hamster and names of people that'll insert in the titles here. Just these cool people.
Yes, Brutal Moose, Jimmy Wetzel, Balrog, Space Hamster, Youngtown. So there you go, and me, of course.
So what do you?
That
think
is all of us. Wait a minute, that is all of us. Me, Jimmy, Balrog, Space Hamster, Luke, Brutal Moose. I said all of them, didn't I?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I did.
It is. You'll have someone in the comments just being like, "Wait a minute, you forgot me, you fuck."
Okay. Well, you can edit the one where I say all the names, because that was all the names just. And I swear I did, but just in case I didn't, because that would be awful.
Nah, it's whatever. So getting back to my question, what are some qualities you think a reviewer or content creator should have? What are some that, by your personal preference?
Honesty. That's like first and foremost anything. I mean, now I don't just mean honesty with being forward on like sponsorships and everything like that. I mean, that's pretty much law by this point. You can't not disclose things like that. I burped. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so not just with that, but I mean, honesty with what you're saying. You can tell when people aren't being 100% honest. You can tell when they're uncomfortable in giving an opinion. But the thing is, if you're going to regurgitate things that other people are saying, there's no point doing what you're doing. You have to do your own thing. So honesty is probably the most important thing for reviewing, especially. But obviously, that's just one part of it, because you can be honest and say, I fucking hate this game, and then end your review there. So that's obviously not the only quality you need. You need to just keep writing and keep doing things, keep on expressing yourself in different ways, keep on, every time you're out and about, make notes. If things make you laugh, write them down. Just you got to inject yourself. I'm not even saying you need to be funny, but just inject yourself into what you write or what you present in a video, because just being like getting the basics out there, just getting your thoughts across is one thing, but it's how you get your thoughts across. So yeah, honesty, bringing yourself into it. What can you give to the whole idea of reviewing and everything? And I think those are probably the most important things, because everything else, if people don't like you, but you have been honest and you have put yourself into it, then that means that you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So that's just the way it is. But if you don't put yourself into it, you're not honest, and people don't like you for it, then obviously that's something that you can obviously improve on. But that's a good way to basically sniff out, as it were, in a disgusting way, all of the people that would like to see what you have to say and what you do on YouTube, and or writing, obviously, or anything like that. So yeah, honesty and being yourself. That's probably the first things I think.
Yeah. My personal preference has always been charisma. I look for someone that has energy. I look for someone.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So when I say like that's the good way to let yourself know what kind of fans and everything you'll be attracting. Like, if as long as you're yourself and you can't do anything more than who you are, even if you're acting a little bit, if you can't do any more than who you are, you might not be the most charismatic person in the world, but if you can be yourself and it comes across as you being yourself, if you're like dry or you're dark or you're quiet, but you use that and you use it and you come out and say, look, this is who I am and this is what I do, then that also works. But then obviously your personal preference, like you just said, is energy. So you'll look for people who have the energy, but then there could be people with lots of energy who, as soon as they go on camera or as soon as they start writing, don't use their own energy in the thing. So then you'll be like, well, I don't quite like this, but then they might be missing out on that audience. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good thing we got that cleared up. I like that. I guess we sort of have a like-minded thing on that, because I've seen so many different content creators who they have the writing down, but they don't execute it well, you know?
Yeah. Because I personally I follow a couple of YouTubers who are really not even necessarily quiet, because there's a difference between quiet and like not very confident. But when people are confident in being awkward and being quiet and being like like getting the cuts wrong and everything, but they all do it intentionally. That's also kind of fun. Like if they never raise their voice or they never swear or anything like that. It just depends how you want to go. But if you can do it as your own personality comes through with it, then that is the most important thing to me, because I can watch someone with energy and I can watch someone who is way more chilled out and relaxed. I like all kinds of things, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'll actually segue that into a question I was going to ask later. What is one reviewer you would love to work alongside that you never have before? Because I just saw your video with Some Call Me Johnny, and you two have like excellent chemistry working together.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. We thought we'd bounce off each other very well, because I mean, okay, there you go. That's a perfect example of what I was saying. So he is not someone who goes out and screams all the time in a microphone or anything, but it's the way that who he is as a person is exactly how he comes across in his videos. That's who he is, and it's so cool. And then obviously what I like about Some Call Me Johnny as well is the fact that when he does get angry or he does rage, it's sporadic and it just happens out of nowhere, or he's loud for a split second and then calms himself down again. So yeah, that it's a different kind of style, but I like that. I love his style, which is why I was desperate to work with him when I found out we were going to be at the same con. But oh god, there's so many people that I've been meaning to work with. There's Pro Jared, who I've been meaning to do something with for ages. PBG would be great. I got to get through all the Hidden Block guys at some point, because I've done full-on collabs with a few of them, and had all of them in videos at some point, but I haven't done full-on collabs with the other guys yet. So yeah, it's basically ticking off the normal Boots and Hidden Block crowd, basically, one bit at a time. That'll be the first answer, I'd say. Yeah.
That seems fair. There's like so many like different content creators to work with as well, so I think it would be best to just narrow it down to like the ones that you're very familiar with, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's also like going into uncharted territory as well, with like people that like you really don't know much about either, and that I think is always, that's the fun part, but it's also a bit of a gamble because you never really know what to expect.
Well, that was the fun thing about working with Scarfulu a few years back, and then working with him again in the VIP video, because he was someone who I just really liked, and I felt like he needed to get a little bit more attention, and I'm hoping that what we did together worked out really well. But I mean, there's so many other people that I think could be exposed to much more people. So I mean, there's the guys at Arcadia, if you know who Arcadia are. There's like oh, well, there's Dave Control. I'd love to do something with him, because we've been in each other's videos a couple of times, but never done something fully on together. Gilly the Kid, I'd love to do something with. Oh, there's so many people. Ant Dude, I'd love to do a video with. There's so many people. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing out lots of different people. So yeah, there's so many. There are so many. I've got my subs are full as it is. So there's so many people I'd love to work with. And if I've missed any names out, please do not take offense. It's just because there are so many people I'd love to work with. And that's it. My memory is fucking dreadful. That's one thing you need to know about me. My memory is absolutely shite. So I'm very sorry if I've upset anyone by not mentioning them. But Rabid Luigi, there you go. I'd like to work with him as well. There's so many people. There are so many people I can possibly go into full on detail. But yeah.
Well, let's actually keep going on with the whole memory thing. What has been the most fun project to work on, whether it's your own project or a collab you've done?
Oh, God. Okay, when I've been asked this before, when people usually ask me this, the first thing that comes to my mind, whether or not it's for my memory or because it actually just does stand out for me, the first thing that pops to my head for some reason is Bratz Rock Angels. That's the first thing that comes to my head, which was a video from a few years ago. I want to say 2015. I want to say
there, I think.
Yeah, I think I want to say that. But oh no, maybe it wasn't. No, I think it might have been 2014 actually. But either way, that's the first thing that comes to my head, and that's purely because that was the first time I got the kids involved, my girlfriend's kids involved in a video, and they were adorable, and that was the first time they'd been on camera and done like that kind of acting before, and it was hilarious, and they were completely oblivious to why I was asking them to eat a game manual and everything. And so everything you see in the video, there's a bit where Amy's eating the manual and she just looks completely disgusted with what's happening, and she's not acting. She just thinks that that's what she has to do because I've asked her to do it. She doesn't know she's acting. It's great. It's great working with kids that age. But it was also the first time I managed to properly animate. I shot Chloe, my girlfriend's eldest daughter, in the head, and I managed to animate a blood splatter effect on the back of the wall where I shot her. And it's a bit choppy nowadays, but back then it was the first time I'd ever done something like that, and I was so proud of myself for doing it. And obviously it was so much fun to film. And obviously the video was just fun anyway. I mean, it was bloody ridiculous. It's fucking Brad's. It was absolutely absurd. And that's the first thing that comes to my head. But then there's so many others. I mean, in Destruction Derby 2, from even before that, I think there was the caravan-y kind of thing that I managed to stay. Or was it an RV? I can't remember. But we managed to get some of the filming done in that, and that was really fun. And then there's the like top 10 scariest songs, which was done. Ollie, the cameraman for that video, at one of his dad's friends' house, and it's a huge like estate in the middle of the woods, and we've filmed like short movies in there and everything before because it is just such an awesome place to film. And then there's stuff like the Brutal Most collab, because that was the first time I'd ever got. When we filmed our very brief joke for that, when I'm standing over him at the dinner table and telling him that he's a jerk, that was not only the first time I'd ever met all of Hidden Block together for the first time ever, which was a very special moment, but it was obviously also the first time I'd done a collab with someone overseas and been able to be in the same space, on the same frame with them. And the great thing about that collab in particular was if you watch the videos back, because he did one with me and I did one with him, and if you watch the videos back, I think, was it the zoo race? I think it was the zoo race.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. I think it was the zoo race, and he did Crisis City with me, and I think it was those two videos. I can't 100% think what it was, but I think those were the two videos. But if you watch them both back to back, they infinitely loop around each other, and that was Ian Brutal Moose's idea, and that was such an incredible touch, and that made them writing the intros and outros so much more fun. So his outro follows on into my intro, and then my outro follows on into his intro, and it just constantly loops.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, it's a great detail. No, and we don't bring attention to it or anything. A few people have noticed, but yeah, so that was another fun thing to do. But then every video is fun to make. Every single one's fun to make, but they're all fun for different reasons. I mean, even the Assassin's Creed 2 video I did really recently, that was one that stuck out as being really fun, because me and Ollie, he brought his drone with him, and he brought his jibs and all of his really high-techy camera smoothie equipment for running along, like a running cam thing that like it gets rid of the shake when you're following someone along. So we did all the assassin shooting and everything, like in the countryside around where I live now. So we had an excuse to go out and look at all the local villages and do weird parkour-y rubbish around people's garden walls and stuff. That was a great time as well. There's every single one of them is fun for different reasons, but those are the ones I guess that pop into my head as being the most memorable, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's really cool too. It's so much more interesting when you add like all these different live action skits, or so many different pieces that you don't normally add to your videos. That helps each of them stand out, I think.
Well, yeah, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I think that's why I don't like to call them reviews necessarily. That's what my Wednesday Caddy videos are. That's why I put in big capital letters review, because it's like those are just game footage and my thoughts and edited together with a bit of like filmed introduction and middle parts and an ending. So that's following way more of a structure, so that's why I like to call them proper reviews, and I try to lay off the jokes and lay off the editing jokes and everything. But no, Caddicarus is a free-for-all. I can one day cover something like Assassin's Creed 2, and then that gives me an excuse to go out and get some jokes of filming and parkour and breaking my leg and then trying to run in parkour with a broken leg again, with Rugrats running away music on top of it. So I can do that. But then the very next day I can do a video about direct to VHS like nursery rhyme cassette video that ends up going on for 2 parts, because I just had so many jokes and things that were pouring out of my mouth while I was writing everything down. And see, that was fun, and that one didn't even have any like crazy going out to film moments or anything. That was just fun because it was amazing to watch all of that back and make notes and figure out what I could do with particular scenes of the videos. So it's just so many good memories. But yeah, absolutely.
Going back a little bit, when you were talking about being actually in the space of like some of the other reviewers from Hidden Block, I want to ask, what was your first proper American convention experience like? Because I know you made a small little series where you actually went to America for the first time, but a convention experience though, like that, I want to know how that was for you.
Well, that was unbelievable. I have no other. I mean, I just came, literally about a couple of weeks ago. I just came back from Too Many Games in Philadelphia. And that was, well, I mean, that's where I filmed the bits with Johnny. And that was an incredible experience. But they were both incredible experiences for a few different reasons. Obviously, the first one I ever did, in America especially, was SGC, Screw Attack Gaming Convention in Dallas, Texas, 2014. I want to say that was. So that was the first one, and that was the first time I'd ever come face to face with that many people who supported my stuff. That was the first time I'd ever met most of Normal Boots and Hidden Block together. That was the first time I'd experienced a lot of like particular American foods, because I did that on the first time I came to America, and then on the road trip that I made that Tinker Time video on. But I never did anything out of my own accord. That was my own break that I went on my own. My first plane ride on my own and everything. So
That must have been fun.
It was. Oh yeah, it was great fun. So that was an incredible experience as well. But it was everything. I'd never experienced that level of being able to step into a room and have everyone like want to speak with you. And I've never shaken so many hands and hugged so many people and signed so many. I never signed anything in my life until that convention. So it was so surreal. And obviously there was the Hidden Block panel, and you walk into a room and all the audience start walking in, and it was absolutely surreal but amazing. And then everyone starts like chanting your name and everything, and I'm just so grateful. And I mean, someone filmed that, and when that starts happening, when I introduce myself, I've got nothing to say because I'm just so flabbergasted by what's happening. It's alien in a way. I can't comprehend how generous and everything everyone is, and I can't comprehend how lucky I am that is a position that I'm in, which I'm sure lots of people would love to also be in. But yeah, but then obviously there's at Too Many Games we had our autographing session, and me, Jimmy, and Balrog were all there, and we were there for about an hour and 45 minutes getting through the queue. And it's like when we looked at the time after we had started the panel and everything, it was like, what? We were there for an hour and 45 minutes just talking to people and signing stuff. It's the most, yeah, like I've said about a million times, it's surreal, but it's also incredibly, well, it's amazing. I have no other words for it, and it's a very, I guess, humbling, if that's the word I can use, I guess. I'm just so grateful. I'm so generous. I'm so generous. No, everyone else is so generous, and I'm so grateful. Just thinking about it is getting me all confused and wound up. It's fantastic. If I could do it every single year or a couple of times a year, I easily would. It's a fantastic experience.
Yeah, if I may share real quick, I kind of had somewhat of the same experience back in 2014 when I went to this convention over in Baltimore, and
Okay.
I was scheduled for my first big panel. I had done like a small one beforehand, but this is like the big one, and just seeing all of those people in there, and then like introducing myself, just getting that rush. That is a moment I can never forget, because it's sort of it is surreal. It was a surreal experience, because at that point I just realized this is how many people watch my stuff. Like this.
Yeah, that's how many people
crazy.
care, right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane, and it's like all these people. Like, I mean, at TMG specifically, there was like a young lady that came up to me who had come all the way from the UK. So she flew over from the UK to Philadelphia, maybe even on the same flight I was on, I have no idea, but she flew all that way just for the opportunity to ask me a question at our mini Hidden Block panel, and get some stuff signed. And I rudely asked her at the panel, "Are you insane?" Because it's like, you did all of that just for the chance, because there wasn't even a guarantee that you were going to see me. So what if you didn't see me? You know, it's like, it's just ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. But then the whole weekend was amazing anyway, so I'm sure there would have been a good weekend in it anyway. But like, it's a bizarre sensation, and the crowds and everything. I don't think you ever lose that rush, because I used to I used to do a lot of gigging with different bands. I was a drummer in lots of different bands, and playing to that many people. I think the most I played to was about 2 or 3 thousand, which isn't that many, to be fair, as far as playing in a local festival or something goes. But yeah, just that was one of the biggest rushes I've ever had, and it's a similar kind of thing, but everyone isn't there to experience different bands, and you're just one of them. Everyone there is there to listen to you specifically, with your friends sitting next to you, and that is so bizarre, because I don't think I've got anything that interesting to say. I just say things and hopefully people enjoy it, you know. So, oh, it's very strange.
Yeah, you actually brought up something I wanted to ask before about with the drumming. So what was your, I guess, inspiration to start doing that with, like, on your channel, with, like, doing it to some video game themes? Like, what was the story behind that?
Well, I mean, I've been drumming since I was 11 years old, and I just love doing it, basically. And playing in a band, I was in a few bands before, but they were all kind of school bands, and if not, then they were just bands with friends, and we didn't really take it massively seriously. We were just in it for a laugh. And then I ended up in another band who did take it a little bit more serious. Obviously, it was still a laugh, but they did take the whole music industry and everything and trying to get their names out a bit more serious. And they're doing really well now, and I'm very happy for them. But I was in that band, and we did like I mean, I loved playing live. I love playing the drums. That's a feeling I'll never get tired of. It's one of my favorite things to do, next to gaming. And I don't think there's a story behind it necessarily, but it was like after YouTube kicked off, I had to unfortunately leave the band that was gonna try and get their name out there. So I was like, I'm really sorry, guys. I wish you the best, but I'm gonna try and do this now. The money's getting a little bit decent, so I left them. And I guess I was trying to scratch that itch of the same kind of thing, but this time, instead of playing with a band with other people, which is a different sensation to playing to video game tracks, but it's another kind of sensation, because I can pick whatever I want to play. I don't need to worry about what other people's tastes are. You don't need to worry about what other people can actually play physically on a guitar or physically sing. You can just do whatever you want, and video game tunes are very good for drumming. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to lose the drumming completely. I want to still do it, and I want to still share it with people, to an audience. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's start doing that. So I started doing it on the second channel, and then the second channel has now kind of become really just basically a dumping ground for my older videos. And if I have a stupid thing I want to put up, I will put it up on there. But there's no focus on that anymore, because obviously I was losing focus everywhere else, and everything was getting confusing. So yeah, then that's when the Caddy show idea came around, where I wanted to do reviews and I wanted to do reactions to things like the Peppa Pig news story on BBC.
Oh, jeez.
So I wanted to do all those. That's why. So I guess that's the story behind the Caddy thing. It was a case of I wanted to do something that involved drumming, but I didn't want to have a separate drumming show. So I was like, well, how about if I put it in a show that didn't just necessarily incorporate drumming, but loads of other things? So then Caddy became its own thing, because it was like, well, okay, let's call the show Caddy because it's just me. It's just Caddy, and this is what I do. So that's why Caddy reactions and Caddy reviews and Caddy drumming covers and all that kind of stuff. That's why that all kind of falls under that umbrella, because it works like that. And I love doing it. So I guess that's the basic idea.
All right. Now I'm gonna go back to gaming. What is your biggest gaming pet peeve? Like, what's a make it or break it kind of thing for you? Like, if this happens, just like, nope, I can't.
In what sense? Well, when I'm playing a game or something?
Yeah.
Oh, so something that will happen that will make me stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Has it ever happened?
Not apart from, I mean, funnily enough, you say that because yesterday I uploaded a video about why Prey, the new game that came out this year, bored me fucking senseless, and I had to stop because I was just so bored there. But that's not really a pet peeve. There was a combination of elements there. There's no pet peeves really, as far as I'm concerned, that make me want to stop, because any pet peeves, I would have something like, I don't know, an overused gaming cliche or something. Sometimes if the overused gaming cliche is done well, then I don't really care that much. There's no tiny thing that will make me go, oh no, I don't want to play this. I mean, if you would have asked me this a couple of years ago, I guess I would have said turn-based combat, but then that's not a pet peeve. That's just a kind of genre. That's a way to play a game. That's a gameplay mechanic. So, and nowadays, I think I would give them a little bit more of a chance. But and I also do like other like I love the Paper Mario games, which are turn-based, but also reward you being like on the ball with reactions to button presses and using special powers that you actually have to interact with, and it's not just picking something and seeing what happens like a kind of game of chess or something, which is totally fine if you love that stuff, but I don't like that necessarily. But that's not necessarily a pet peeve. That's just a mechanic I don't warm to. And when the Final Fantasy VII remake comes out on PS4, whenever that comes out, I think I'm gonna try it, give it another go, and see how I like it. But yeah, there's no major pet peeves really. I will try anything. I mean, if anything, it's just things that don't really interest me that much. So Call of Duty doesn't interest me. Most kind of FPSs in that kind of way don't interest me. Sports games do not interest me whatsoever. Could not care less. It's things like that. But I wouldn't say there were pet peeves that make me want to stop, because if I've got something, I'm already interested in it. So if it does something cliched or does something I don't like, I'll just write it into the review and go with it until the end of the game, and then I'll see how I feel about it afterwards. But oh, I guess there's one thing I could say: overpowered final bosses in fighting games. There you go. That's a specific one. There you go. Yeah.
You think of like I'm just gonna pop off some names in my head. Like I think Akuma from like Street Fighter. Or you got what was the name of the last guy in Tekken? I'm trying to remember.
Well, I mean, there's loads in Tekken. I mean, people used to think Azazel or Azazel, I don't know how you pronounce it, but people used to think him in Tekken 6 was cheap as anything. But I actually liked that battle. I thought it was quite fun. The Shin Akuma fight in Tekken 7 is one of the worst things I've ever played, because of how much it's deliberately built against you. It's so insane. People argue that it's built for people that are masters of the game, but I really don't think that's a good enough excuse for everything that character does, because it's an entirely different character. But there's that, and then there's Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 9. He's another classic. Yeah, there's a few things like that. Yeah.
What game do you pop in to get motivation in between editing? Like, let's say a video is just rendering, just like, well, I'm bored, I need something to play, or I need something to get, like, you know, the juices flowing.
There isn't.
Really?
There is not. No, I replay PS1 games on my Vita when I can, which is usually when I'm in bed. So I play maybe an hour of a game as I'm replaying it. But replaying games does not happen. It just doesn't, apart from when I'm doing Caddicarus episodes and I have played the game before. There is no such thing for me as a motivational game that motivates me to make a video, other than the games I actually do play, which I'm making a video about, because that's when I'm already paying attention. I'm in kind of work mode, as it were, when I'm playing Ape Escape or something. Like, I'm enjoying the game very much, but I'm also fired up in my head for making notes on particular things that happen, and making gameplay notes and notes on funny, stupid shit that happens at particular points, and writing it all down. So I'm already in the zone with that. But as far as like something's rendering, I've got more stuff to do. I've got more things to record. I've got more things to write. I've got more things to arrange in emails. I'm always doing something. So, yeah, always doing something. So I don't think that's necessarily something that I consider doing, as it were.
Would you consider yourself a workaholic then?
I don't know if it's being a workaholic or actually just working a lot because that's what I have to do, I guess. Me working on the 2 videos a week and my girlfriend working on the 1. It's sometimes, for some weeks, it's hard enough for Karis just to work on the 1 video a week. So, it's not a chore for me or anything. I love what I do, but it just takes a lot of time out. That's all. I mean, I'm up with everyone at like 8 in the morning with everyone, getting everyone to school, and I get back home, I have something to eat, and then I'm working until dinner time at so that'll be from I don't know, 10:30 a.m. until maybe about, just non-stop, no lunch break or anything. I'll keep going until about 5:30, and then I'm right back out in the office again, and I'll just keep on going and going until maybe, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, maybe midnight. Sometimes, depending on how much work I've got to do, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It's random. It's completely random. And that's just what I have to do. That's how I get the videos out. So yeah, I've never considered. I don't think it's a workaholic thing, but I guess I'd have to be a workaholic in order for that schedule to work. So I don't know. Maybe I am. I'm not sure.
That actually ties really nicely into what I was going to ask next. Like, do you
Oh
have
yeah.
any ways to deal with stress while on, the job?
Well, uh, I don't know. I really have no idea. Because it's not it's I mean it's the workload is stressful, but the work itself isn't stressful, apart from when Vegas is going wrong or something, apart from when there's like glitches and crashing and everything like that. That's when it can be a bit stressful, or when I'm a little bit tight on a deadline for playing a new game that I wasn't expecting to be as long as it was, but I need to get it done in time for a Caddy video. That's what happened with Horizon Zero Dawn. But no, there's not really anything I do. I mean, it's just the few hours at the end of the night when I take the dog out at about, well, I mean, it varies. Usually it's between 10 o'clock and midnight. I'll take the dog out for a walk. And then, yeah, just that moment of maybe an hour or so, an hour or two, depending on how much work I've been able to do that night, of just lying on the sofa in the living room and playing more of a game I'm going to cover for a Caddy video, or anything like that. I think that's all I need. I've also been vaping recently. which sounds silly because I'm not a smoker, and there's no nicotine in my pipe at all. It is just the taste of it, but it is so relaxing, and I can't believe I haven't been doing it before. It's an incredible relaxer.
Definitely was not expecting that because I know
No,
I know
not
a few
lots
who
of
vape
people
too.
do. Lots of people don't expect that when they see me smoking it. I think a few people did a double take when they saw me smoking it outside the TMG when I was there a couple of weeks ago. But no, just a bit of blueberry steam in my lungs. That's all I need. That's fine. That's fine with me.
There's such a stereotype behind vaping too. That's kind of why I think people give like a weird look to it as well.
Maybe, I don't know, but the thing is, if there is a stereotype to it, I'm happy to embrace it. I fucking love doing it. It tastes unbelievably nice. It relaxes me, so I don't care what other people say. If someone says that it's uncool or anything, I really, really don't care, As, I mean, at least it's not like massively dangerous. At least it's not dangerous, At least it could have really, it could have like obviously the tar and everything that's in it, or whatever the bloody hell's in cigarettes, tarmac, cement,
You're just like inhaling cement. I mean that's not too bad.
yeah, that's what they put in cigarettes and stuff nowadays, isn't it? But yeah, I don't drink or anything, so yeah, I've got no problem with it. It's fun, and you can stick it in your pocket. You can take it anywhere. It's cheap to maintain. I love it. I've got no problem using it whatsoever. It's great.
All right. I actually wanted to ask. I may have like one or two bonus questions before we can finish this up, but that's all right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now I want to actually talk about the two Scooby-Doo videos you did.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have one of my closest friends. Her name is Keyframe. I don't know if you know her. I think she talked to you one or two times about like something Scooby-Doo related.
Maybe.
Possibly. We we're big Scooby-Doo fans, and watching you basically tear apart like not just the movie. I think the movie review was funnier than I think the game review, but it's just what were you expecting, I guess, from the fans when you made that video? Because like there's a lot of like diehard Scooby-Doo fans, and you just like came out and just like ripped both the game and movie to shreds. I mean, like,
well, I mean, I think it's easier to hate the game. I think it's much easier to hate the game because it's shit. But I mean, I don't know. I knew what was going to happen. I knew there were people that were going to just enjoy the video for what it was. I know there were people that agreed with me and were going to find what I was saying funny. And then I knew there were going to be people, because when I was looking at clips of the movie and like songs from the DVD extras and stuff like that, like fucking Scooby-Doo and Shaggy Love to Eat and all that crap. When I was looking up that kind of stuff, the comments of people love it. And I was so surprised. I mean, you can love and like whatever you want. I am not going to hold that against anybody. If you can enjoy something I can't, you're better off than I am. You've won as far as I'm concerned, because I don't enjoy it, so I wasted my time. You like it, so great. You can enjoy it every single time it's on. That's fantastic. But for me, I mean, the thing is that's what I thought about it. I used to love it as a kid. That's something else that's fun as well. When you play something that you used to love as a kid, but then you watch it back and think, what the fuck was I thinking? So that was another thing. But yeah, I knew what some people were going to say, and I don't care because that's what I thought. And if people go on YouTube or anything and watch these kinds of videos expecting everything that they think to be repeated at them, then they should just go and get a fucking parrot. You know, there's no point. That's how the world works. You know, but I don't care. No, I had fun making the video. The video was. I mean, watching the film just to make the notes was fun in itself. Making fun of the film while we were watching it with the kids and everything, that was fun enough as it is. So it wasn't a waste of time for me personally. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think about that. I don't think about. I'm aware of it, but I don't think about it too hard because that's what I think, and I'm not about to like water down anything just because of what maybe the general or the mass majority might think. Which is why I did the Prey video as well, because it's like Prey got lots of good reviews. As much as Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, but not obviously. Obviously, that the movie got I don't know, on average about 6, 7 out of 10. So and then Prey is like 8 out of 10 kind of. So it's like, but we can't like everything the same. We can't dislike everything the same. So I just don't worry about that. I guess I really don't. It was fun to make, and if people could get a laugh out of it, even if they love the film, then that's great. That's fantastic.
That makes sense. I guess the only other bonus question I was going to ask is, and I know this sounds silly to ask, but you've nailed down, I think, your niche, which is the PlayStation 1. Like, that's where you can find some hidden gems in there. You, of course, can talk about, like, the legends like Crash and Spyro, but then you go and, like, talk about very obscure, very what the fuck are these kind of games. So I gotta ask, like, why the PS1? I'm guessing it's because of the childhood, but, you know...
Yes, but yeah, you've answered the question. Yeah, it was the first console I ever played. Crash 3 was the first game I ever played. That's the end of that. And the thing is, when I was starting making my videos, when I guess PUBG, everyone at Normal Boots was basically at the height of their popularity. Obviously, they're still very popular now. I don't mean to say like they've dropped over the last. If anything, they've got bigger. But they were reaching a kind of godlike haven of internet reviewer kind of fan bases, and that was what most people aspired to be like when they went on YouTube and started making videos. So when they were doing it, most of the time it was covering Nintendo things, and I well, I mean, as of today I'm 23, I think. Am I 20? Yes, I'm 23. I forget how old I am sometimes. So yeah, I was born in 1994, and that was when the PlayStation came out, I think. And that was obviously what was around at the time. I never played any Nintendo console until the GameCube when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I played it at my cousin's house. And even then, I wasn't massively interested in getting the GameCube or anything. I had a PS2 at that point, but yeah, I mean, it was just it was the first thing I ever played, and I noticed that everyone that was doing, even Angry Video Game Nerd, it was always Nintendo. It was Nintendo. And I was like, well, there's not enough Sony love. We need a bit more PlayStation love. And since PlayStation is my go-to console, my favorite, then it's like, great, let's do it then. Let's do a similar kind of thing, but with a different kind of console, because I could just do the same things everyone else is doing, but I don't want to do that, and it wouldn't work anyway because I didn't grow up with them, so I haven't got the emotional, like I said earlier in this interview, getting my character myself out. I can't write about myself if I've got no history with what I'm talking about, and I'm not interested. And unfortunately, I'm just not interested in NES, SNES because I never played it when I was young. I never grew up with it. So I could do GBA because I grew up with that. That was my first handheld and my first Nintendo console. But yeah, that's why you answered it. Yes, because of my childhood, and it helped with the writing. It made everything a bit easier. Yeah.
Well, I knew it was because of the childhood, but then, like, to hear you go more in depth about it, is it wrong that, like, I was kind of thinking that too? Because as long as I've been watching your stuff, I'm like, I wonder why. And what you just said was kind of one of the reasons I had in my head. So thank you for confirming that. Actually, that's actually right. Really cool. Now, what keeps you going and what motivates you to keep going, whether it's being a gamer or reviewer or just content maker in general?
The people. That's the main reason.
For the people, by the people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the people that watch the stuff. As long as there's someone who will listen, as long as there's someone who will enjoy it, I will keep doing it because, obviously, like finances and stuff aside, even if I had to stop doing this and get another job, and I didn't have the time to do any more than like one of these every 2 months or something. I would still try to do it in my spare time, because the amount of messages you get, like when you do this, you'll get the odd message from people that say like they were in a very, very dark place, and you helped like drag them out of it, or they were watching you in hospital, or they like you even get the occasional one, like when someone's been like stationed, like I remember getting one from someone who was stationed in Afghanistan or something like that, and it's like, what? Like, just the fact that someone who isn't even in that kind of, I'm nowhere near that level, I'm not as brave, I'm not as like, and then in the case of hospitals and stuff, I don't have any major conditions that would have to keep me going back to a hospital or anything. So the fact that these people are much braver than I am by default, and they will come and watch my stuff to perk their spirits up or anything, that it's again another surreal but unbelievably just gratifying thing to feel, and it means more to me than I can even describe in this. I mean, I'm struggling to find the words even now thinking about it, because just thinking about it is unbelievable to me as it is. It's the people. It's all about the people, because if you can have that kind of impact on somebody else, then anything negative, pointlessly negative, I don't mean like constructive, I mean pointlessly negative, pointless hate, any of that, it's water off a duck's back at that point, because you know how you affect those few other people. Oh, well, lots of other people, but the few other people that really, really, really do benefit from watching what you do, and that's, I'm sure you can imagine as it is. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, actually, two things on that. One, I, as someone who goes through depression, watching your videos always helps to brighten my day, which is why I usually try to watch like one or two of them. Usually that helps. But
that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. And as I can say, as well, as someone who also has done and still kind of does suffer from depression, I know how you feel. So it's totally fine. We're in the same boat.
The second thing is, if I may, real quick, I had a fan. Her name was Leah, and she was a huge fan of mine as well. But she had breast cancer, and I only got to speak with her like one time, and a week later she passed away. So it's like, it's sort of,
I'm very sorry to hear that. That's awful.
Yeah, but at least I got to like talk with her before, like, you know, that she passed away. But it was more so, it's those types of fans, it's those types of people that keep me going as well, because I don't have a huge fan base as big as yours, like Caddy, but it doesn't really matter the size or the scope. It just matters with the people that watch your stuff.
It's all about. I guess if you want to look at it in an analogy, I guess it's not necessarily about the reach, but about the impact.
Exactly.
Right? It's about the impact you leave on that particular person or people, I suppose. But yeah, it's not necessarily about just getting your message out to as many people as possible. It's about what you actually do for those kinds of people. Absolutely. I know exactly what you mean.
All right. Last question.
I also want to clarify as well. I don't want anyone to freak out, because yes, I do have depression, but I do have medication. So if anyone's confused as like, how could I be suffering from depression but sound quite chipper? I'm not like suicidally depressed or anything. It's just stuff that's happened in the past. I'm on medication for it. It's anxiety and depression. It's nothing serious. So don't worry, people. It's all under control. It's fine. I don't want people to start freaking out and like, oh, we need to support. No, I'm okay. But thank you for your concern. If you were concerned, if you were concerned, you might not have been concerned. You might have been like, oh, too fucking right. But I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, as someone, like I said, who suffers from that, it's a bit of a chore to get through the days, but it's like when you have a little bit of a following, it's like those types of people kind of remind you why
what you're doing.
You do.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
All right, now last question I want to go with: what is the best piece of advice that you can give to a reviewer?
Don't go on YouTube.
Well, shit. Okay, everyone's gonna have to just pile on over to Vimeo or something.
That's only semi-serious. When I say that, I mean, you need to go in. This is the one thing I always stick by whenever I get asked this question. It's go in and expect to fucking fail. Go in and expect to fall on your face. Go in and expect to never want to make a video again. Go in and expect for no one to watch, or if people do watch, get ready to be death threatened and told that you're worthless. Get ready to basically be prepared. I guess Dark Souls, prepared to die. You got to go in and expect that you aren't going to get smooth sailing. Especially at this point, I think I was probably one of the last few channels that got right in with the kind of crowd that I got in with, like Normal Boots and everything. I think I was one of the last few that managed to pick up some steam before Let's Play oversaturation and everything started taking effect, which was already starting to take effect when I started making those kinds of videos. So now it's harder than ever. So I can wish everybody the best, but you need to have a plan B. You need to have an idea where you're going with your life. This needs to be a hobby, and if it becomes more than a hobby, that's fantastic, because I can tell you, I think most people, most YouTubers especially, that do this for a living, they will tell you that this was never supposed to be a career move. It's something that started as a hobby and it became it. So you need a plan B. You need to think realistically. You need to expect that this nothing will come of it. And when you get past that, then you are ready to basically tackle anything. You're ready for a hard work schedule. You're ready for consistency. You're ready to listen to feedback. You're ready to improve, because you need to expect that with the first even 10 videos you might do, nobody might care. And once you get that in your head, then when it does happen and you do get a couple of thousand people watching and when you get your first 1,000 subscribers, if you're in that mentality, it means more than it ever will if you're not expecting to get 10,000 subscribers in the first year. If you're not expecting it, it's going to mean so much more, and it's going to motivate you and drive you to do more, and it's going to keep you humble, I guess. That's the most important thing as well. Being humble is very important as well, because it's a lucky thing what we do. I mean, you do what I do. It's an incredibly lucky industry to be in. Yeah, I guess that's my advice, yeah.
I think that's really good advice too. That's kind of what I go for as well when I tell people, just don't expect to like an overnight success. Just do not expect that, because that is not how this process works. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes a lot of stress, it takes a lot of trial and error. What we do is not easy.
It's not easy. No, it's a lot harder than people make it out to be. But there's something else, like what you just said, like with what you just said there. It's also important to like remember, like you said about like trial and error and everything. I completely forgot what I was going to say. What did you just say?
No, I was saying like it takes a lot of trial and error, stress. It's not easy what we do.
Before that. Oh God, what was I saying? I had something
you were
in my
on
head.
a roll, and then you kind of just stopped for a second.
Yeah, I did. This happens sometimes. Well, okay. I just need. You can edit this out, I'm sure. I just need to remember. What were we? Talking about that. Talking about failing. Talking about.
I'm just gonna keep this in. This is great.
Oh, you're gonna keep it in. That's very kind of you. People will know I am useless at public speaking. Okay.
Oh, shush. You're fine.
Okay. Right. So a great way to fail.
Be prepared to fail.
Be prepared to fail. Overnight success. I completely forgot what I was going to say, but I guess I just need to reiterate what you were saying, which is like, if you need to be prepared for that, and if you can get yourself in a good mindset where 1,000 subscribers really, really, really matter to you, instead of just, oh yeah, that was it, I remembered. So like you were saying, overnight success, but even if you make one video and it somehow gets 3 million views in a week, that doesn't mean you need to drop everything you're doing and do that, because viral videos and virality is not the same as consistency and loyalty from a fan base. It's not the same thing whatsoever. So even if you do go into it expecting to get 1 million views overnight, and you do get 1 million views overnight, congratulations, but that will go to your head and you will fuck up everything. So yeah, it's about just thinking realistically and thinking why something gets big and why something doesn't, what works, what doesn't. Yeah, yeah. It's extension on what you were saying. Yeah.
All right. I think that's okay. That's actually a good place to end. This went on for like about an hour. I think that's actually really good.
Yeah, that's what happens when you interview me.
Well, you said 90 minutes beforehand, so
Okay, it's a bit less than usual, but yeah,
a little
there you
bit
go.
less. All right. So, now I just blanked on what I was gonna say. God damn it.
We're gonna
Ending.
say goodbye.
Something like that. Yeah. So, let's see. Ah, yes. So, if you've made it this far and if you've managed to watch this all the way through, good for you. Just GG. Gotta give you a little bit of a clap there. But if you've made it this far, go ahead and put down in the comments. Actually, if you are a Caddicarus fan, if you're hopefully coming here, what is your favorite Caddicarus video? For me, see, there's so many to choose from, but I really enjoyed the Parappy Rappy video that you did. Like, that one was, I've barely even played Parappa the Rapper, but it's just it makes me want to like actually play it now because of that.
Thanks very much. I would recommend it. Maybe not the remaster though, because that's
Yeah.
delayed as. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right. And do you want to quickly plug anything before we head off?
Plug anything, but I want to say if there's anyone in the audience that doesn't like me, please feel free to say in the comments as well and tell me the most hated of my videos. And yeah, there you go. That's all I have to say.
All right. So once again, dude, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule for this. It means the world to me, and I hope you had a
No
good
worries
time
at
as well.
all. Thank you. No, I had a great time. Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be asked questions and stuff. It's amazing. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, definitely go and follow this dude if you've not subscribed to him. Absolutely do it. Follow him on the tweets. Follow him on I was gonna say you probably don't have Instagram.
I do. I
you
do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
It is. Just
I think
follow
I'm
him
on like
Instagram.
I think I have like 19,000 followers on there. I think.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. Wait. How many have I got? I don't know. I don't tend to look at it that often. Yeah, 19.9, nearly 20,000.
Wow.
Come on, guys, follow me. We can hit 20K. There we go. That's your goal for today.
If you're on Instagram, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But anyways, with that being said, I am the Toon Critic, keeping you totally tuned for your entertainment. Thank you all for watching, and stay awesome.
You too. Thank you. Bye bye.